Hello, people. Welcome to Illios campaign session 7, yet to be named until after the fact. We are running on a time restriction right now, so let's go with the 30-second recap. Ryan, we are in fact 6.
Fuck you.
Anyway, on to the 30-second recap. So, last session, they found the Silver Serpents. They talked to Klein. Klein said, "We're about to go screw with these gnolls, yo." And they were going to go screw with those gnolls.
Yo.
And then the gnolls screwed with them.
Ooh.
A surprise attack in the morning. They broke down the walls. Acid was everywhere.
All hell broke loose.
Yo.
It may have even been confused with a gnoll frat party. We're not sure. Anyway, that happened. It looks like they were maybe just getting situated, and then the gnoll chieftain comes in, Tornjaw, who's like, "Kel," and it's literally the only thing he ever said. and guess who was the object of his hatred? That would be young Illios here. And he ended up taking Illios down, and it was pretty sure the first down we've ever had, legitimately, in this campaign.
Boo.
Yep, and then Mal did shit. And yep, Mal did shit, and we went best recap ever. Anyway, yeah, Mal did shit. We
At least it's not Dave.
Healed Illios. Illios got back up. Finished off.
This is like this is not meta.
Yep.
Not canon.
Yeah, right. Got up, finished the gnoll, chieftain, Tornjaw.
Wink, wink.
And then, right as everything was looking all fine and dandy, an associate from Malvadrian's past showed up. Wonder who he is. Let's find out.
Hey. Right. Before we do dialogue, whatever, let's position so we can get a visual of where we're located, so that if somebody decides to, take some swings at a long lost frenemy, that we can, do damage control.
Okay. Let's have a little something before that, but we can do it after. Thunder booms across the Valley of Serenity. Mal, you see a storm is brewing in the distance, in the night sky, as it hasn't reached you quite yet. And the two moons of Illios shine down on Lake Serenity, and the light illuminates tents, war tents, as far as the eye can see. Soldiers camped out, presumably getting ready for a very big battle. Mal, you are standing outside of a really big war tent. Inside, the generals and commanders are having their final meeting before the inevitable clash with the Imperium Celestial Army the next morning. As you're standing there, waiting, the talking, there's in hushed tones, dies down. And exiting the tent is General McGarvey. along with a line of his commanders surrounding him. He walks out. Notices you, gives you a small curt nod, and walks off. The tent is free. There's one person who did not come out of the tent. The one person you were here to see.
Stupid bastard. Okay. He's gonna make his way into the tent.
Inside, around a pretty big table with a crudely drawn map of the area, sits a man you know well. A man with a short, unkempt, sandy brown hair. His back is to you. His hands, his elbows on the table. His hands crossing kind of at the bridge of his nose. He's just like, oh man. It seems like he hasn't noticed you come in.
So I'm gonna walk behind him and put my hand on his shoulders. I'm gonna look down at what he's staring at, and he's like, "Yep, that is indeed a shitty map. I can see what troubles you. It's poor craftsmanship, just awful."
And so this man kind of starts a little bit when you put your hand on his shoulder. He's like, what? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it really is a shitty map. Hey, Mal. Or, excuse me, Sergeant Silas.
I'm doing fine, Dalton. What are you still doing in here?
I am processing what I've just been told. And
words, I assume. Which specific ones?
What did you say?
Which specific words were you told? Out of the millions and millions of words that could be troubling your very little mind. Which ones are the ones that trouble you tonight? A woman? Definitely a woman. It was General MacArthur, wasn't it? He is quite hot.
No, me and Lorelei are doing just fine, I assure you.
Lorelei and MacArthur. Beautiful hands, that one. Beautiful. I'm sorry. That's him. No, Dalton.
Hey, no. That's fine, Mal. Your banter has calmed me down a little bit.
I'm sure.
I have just been promoted to
troublesome man. I can see why you're so disappointed.
To a commander. Yep.
Like commander of the Western Front commander type commander? Or like, oh, you get this little patch of dirt commander.
And he gets that smirk on his face. He just always seems to have on. He's like, and he gets up and starts pacing a little bit, like Western Front commander.
Oh,
yeah, it's a pretty big, very big jump from officer. They've put me in charge, and literally one of the most important strategic areas in this entire valley.
Not only that, they did this the night before the battle.
Yep.
It's great timing. General MacArthur has always had it out for you, but this is an excessively dickish move.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Not like the entire fate of the world depends on this one battle. And put a new green commander out and I'm not in your squadron this time, right? Because no offense, but you literally just got this job today.
They got no. You're under someone else, but we'll be.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up, Mal. Oh, I'm glad you're here. I needed this. Put my mind off things for tomorrow. Like it. But I'm scared, Mal. You said I'm green. I haven't been in charge of something like this before, and it really feels like the pressure is gonna get to me. He says this, you knowing full well that he's basically never made any kind of mistake ever in leading anyone that he's ever led before.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right. All jokes aside, Dalton, while we do not have superior number, we have superior positioning, we have superior firepower. They don't know what's coming. Not only do we have two fronts, but now, due to your promotion, we have this third front. I could not think of a better man for this job. No unorthodox thinking will get them out of this. We'll be fine.
Dalton kind of sound the back of his head, just starts scratching it, kind of looks down a bit and like a mock embarrassment, like, oh, you shouldn't have.
Yeah, you're right. That was a lie. You're screwed. All your men are gonna die.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Oh man, but
What's worse than that? It couldn't be any worse than the battle prior to this one.
Yeah, that wasn't the best show of our military strategic.
No.
Anyway, just am I really? God, I'm so fucking nervous, Mal.
You know what I do when I get nervous? He brings out this little flask of whiskey that he always keeps at his side, little hip. He's like, smuggle this in past MacArthur. Think it as my congratulations. This nice Mariborian whiskey, handcrafted by the finest craftsmen in the hills of Maribor. Here you go, buddy. Look, it's got your name inscribed on it, this flask. It says...
Probably not as good as the milk.
There you go. A flask and a bottle of whiskey.
As good as the Melangol whiskey I'm used to. But...
Pleasure to serve unto you, Commander Jackass. You'll do great.
I'll have to get up in front of all my men. Well, now new men
and their men.
Yeah, right. It's like, you know how shitty of an actor I am. Oh.
You are a terrible liar.
I have to.
That is true.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Just and he takes a swig of the whiskey, just puts it down on the table. Why can't it just be like in the good old days? You chasing me evading you, and thwarting your attack.
Selective memory. I remember correctly, our total is 98 to 99, with you barely ahead due to that one moment. Yeah. And I was drunk, so it doesn't count. So technically we're tied. So.
Yeah, you say that, but that's definitely not how I remember it.
Well, being a jackass, that's, I guess, the privilege of officership.
Yeah, right. Simple times are behind us, and now just damn war. But we have the terrain advantage. We have knowledge.
And we have attack.
Now, I'm tired. I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of talking about this.
Gnomes are the breaking point. I get it. They're actually bastards. I understand.
Yeah.
I've yet to meet one gnome that I've ever liked. So, I understand.
Yeah, me either. But,
Eat all your food. Shoot all your buddies in the back. Make terrible butchers. Not a single good one in the lot. But that's okay.
all right. This oh, thank you for coming in here and sharing a drink with me, Mal. I really needed it.
Just remember, if you get nervous, and he points to the flask, think of me. Then he walks out.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. See you tomorrow, Mal. Don't die on me.
No, I don't count on it.
And then as you walk out of the tent, thunder once again booms, and the scene changes. In the middle of the battle, things are going so terribly. The rain ever pouring down, and you see in your blurring vision, after you had just been stabbed in the back by Gareth Dalton, you see that same smirk, his hands and face covered in blood as your vision fades. And now he stands in front of you after a long, long year of searching for this man, for what he had done to you and your men and your country. Hey, Mal. It's been a while.
So he's alone, right? There's nobody else there. It's just him.
Yes, he's there. Let's go ahead and do the thing that Logan wanted to do. Yeah, just so we have our bearings on what exactly is going on here. So
Logan, he just fell the giant gnoll, right?
I think so, but if I remember correctly, everything's like pretty hazy for me. I'm not really fit to do much.
I see you kind of like towering over the dead gnoll body.
Oh, yes, like Captain Morgan.
Yeah,
but I'm a little woozy.
From what I remember, last time, what it was I think Dalton actually came in after the black anacalcum had protruded from the gnoll's chest after it cracked with this like blue-like energy that came from the combination of Mal's power and Illios' strength. Yeah, and Gnocchi had grabbed it.
Of course. Yeah.
And then I think right now, how I kind of envision in my head is that y'all are kind of off to the side a little bit, but still like really close, almost like right up on Tornjaw. But of course, y'all have the small army to y'all's back, maybe like a force of maybe like 100 men, something like that. And I'm with Illios. I see kind of like taking one knee. Maybe Dolgrim is helping him.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably perfect.
Helping him stand up. But Gnocchi's holding this crystal, and Dalton has just showed up. He's probably about not very far away, probably 6 feet away from Tornjaw in y'all's position.
So we're like, for sure within earshot, but we're kind of doing our own things, right? And so as far as I'm aware, I have no idea about any of this history or anything. So
yeah.
I'm just kind of chatting with Dolgrim about being thankful to be alive, and
And other than that, of course, the ground is littered with human and gnoll corpses. Hey, Mal.
What about you, Ryan?
Hey. Yeah.
I'm just admiring a crystal, wishing I had food to go with it.
Yeah. Well, let's go well. Yeah. And I just, if I remember correctly, I have just come out of this, like, whatever state, whatever I just came out of. So I kind of see me as like breathing heavy type of thing. I've sustained some wounds or some blood on my uniform, stuff like that. So I'm just kind of on the fringe, just kind of breathing hard, and then slowly take it away.
Yeah. So Dalton, the Dalton who stands before you now, his hair is a little bit longer, more unkept than it was before. There's some scruff on his face, a little more than, like, say, 5 o'clock shadow. He's wearing underneath a big dark cloak that kind of comes together into the sigil of the Celestials, the two dragons encircling each other. And he's standing there with the same smirk on his face that he's always had.
What the heck?
And then he said, what did he say again?
So it's been a while.
It's been a while.
So Mal's kind of out of it, like still hasn't fully recovered his composure from the battle, still kind of out of breath and holding the wound at his side. And he kind of looks up and he hears that. But I think before he saw him, he heard that and it just kind of froze and went rigid for a second. And he looks around in shock and stares at Dalton, just dumbfounded, like just cannot speak, just completely stunned with his mouth agape and just open. And just his eyes start to narrow, but it's this mixture of like anger and shock. And he's kind of just dumbfounded at this moment. It doesn't say anything for a few moments.
And so Dalton actually chuckles a little bit and outstretches his arms. He's like, "What? What? Happy to see me? Are you that I'm at a loss for words? I know we haven't seen each other since, I tried to kill you, but come on, man."
What are you doing here?
Oh, me?
He looks around, looking for other people to be around him that's still just completely dumbfounded as to what's going on. Totally ignored his banter, his witty whatever, and just asked him, what are you doing here?
He puts his arm down, kind of looks down a little bit. Straight to the point, huh? Well, I'm here to collect on that failed monstrosity. That kind of failed experiment. I've been watching y'all for a while now. Nice final blow, by the way. I think your name is Illios. I think maybe Ilgath.
So I'm assuming you didn't have my attention before this moment.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, would Ilgath have been looking at him, or?
I mean, I wouldn't think so, but you have my attention now.
Yeah.
I do not believe we have been introduced, but yes, my name is Illios.
Okay, so that's the pronunciation.
Because his tone immediately turns dark because he notices this the sigil, not because he knows the past, but he can see the celestial symbol.
One thing that never mind. One thing that you might notice, Illios, you've grown accustomed to your power, your ability to sense like an evil like in the air, like ever present.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel a thing from this guy.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. He says, "Oh, sorry, I've just been watching y'all for so long now. And I mean, I know all about you, but I'm the undead heretic that you are."
Malvadrian, who is this man to you?
He looks kind of back towards Illigath, and he says, "This is a very dangerous man. He's a very smart man. A man named Dalton. He used to be," and he kind of tenses up, "my commanding officer in charge of the safety and protection of both my people and his. But he was the man of which I spoke, who betrayed me and our people at the Battle of Serenity Valley. Man you see before you is both a murderer, a traitor, and perhaps the greatest enemy known to the rest of the free world. Man who stands before you, his name is Dalton, and he wouldn't be here without a plan. He wouldn't come against an army without a plan. What do you want, Dalton? What's your angle?"
I would imagine at this point that there's been a scene made.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, let's not forget about the atmosphere of the battlefield still.
And so it's actually after Mal finishes saying that everyone is kind of situating this strange man is here, and everyone that's still there, they're just kind of coming off like the high of the supposed victory that they have, are just now kind of standing there bewildered and confused. And then you have off to the side, "You son of a bitch!" And Zoe is walking quickly, almost running. Almost up towards him, and Klein, "Everyone, crossbows on that man. Not let him out of your sight."
So like right after he finishes that, I scream, "Wait! He wouldn't be here outnumbered by however many people are here, like I guess like 40 people, 30 people, 100 people. He wouldn't be here outnumbered with 100 people if he didn't have the upper hand. Don't move against him until not yet. Just don't do it yet."
On my command.
I also see you as kind of holding back Zoe, or just like have your hand.
I kind of saw like an intercept path, like she was running that way, and then I just kind of and just like get right in front of her, and then I do the wait until stuff.
Like, "No, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker."
Calm down for a second. I have to know why he's here. He wouldn't attack us unless he had the upper hand.
Oh, come on. I'm not that smart. Oh, then again, maybe I am. Oh, and all the charges, by the way, you listed. Definitely guilty. Although I don't know, murderer doesn't have quite a nice ring to it. Oh, well, I guess I'll take it. But no, I have no idea what you're talking about. I am here by myself, just wanting to get back something that belongs to me and my superiors. Hey, Gnome, want to hand over that crystal? I really want it.
I think I want it just a tad bit more than you.
I doubt that. I really doubt that. See, and he starts walking forward very slowly.
All right.
Kind of with his hands now in his pockets. Just kind of striding forward. Like, you don't hand that thing over. Well, everyone here is going to die. Just let that sink in.
Can I roll a perception to see, like, so I know I see him, but kind of like the surrounding area, like, I don't know, like a hidden force or like an energy or something?
Go for it.
Okay. I don't know what my modifier is, but I think it's a +2.
You're a ranger, so it should be pretty high.
Like an 18.
All right. Look around. You, with an 18, you look around, and you don't see anything, and that unnerves you. But you actually see one thing. You see on the grounds nearby where Dalton was standing a blackened mark that is just beginning to fade right as you catch it, of two dragons interlocking as it fades from the ground.
And so there's that one place. It's not like his footsteps are causing it. It's just at a one fixed location.
Yeah, just at that one fixed location.
Okay. What's the position from me to Noki?
You to Gnocchi.
Basically, what I want to do is get in front of Gnocchi.
Yeah. And Gnocchi, where would you be?
I probably, after taking the gem, I would have backed away from Tornjaw, and kind of out of the way of everybody, so that I could study the crystal.
Yeah.
Illios is in no mood to, or shape to, like, move or fight or anything like that. So it's gonna be one of the rare moments where he's going to he's really trying to see if this guy's bluffing, specifically on the phrase that everyone here is going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's pretty low. It's only an 8. But the point is, Illios not keen on moving because he would get more hurt in the process.
Yeah. What you see on this man's face is the smirk and these deep blue eyes that come across as a person who has complete confidence in what he is saying.
That's fair. But that's enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just kind of stabilizing myself on Dolgrim, and I guess I would stand up to look like I'm not going to just fall over, but it wouldn't take much of a studying to realize that I couldn't do much.
Noki would be moving one hand down to his waist where his pistol is currently pocketed, just in case.
And then I would be if he's trying to move past me or trying to move into the crowd or whatever, I would draw my officer's sword, my officer's saber, and then kind of get into like a dueling stance and put the sword between Dalton and wherever it is that he's going, like on an intercept pass, basically. He moves left, I move left. He moves right, I move right. He moves forward, I move back.
Yeah, you know, I didn't really expect it to go quite so easily, but Mal, do me a favor. Can you tell everyone here, or tell your wonderful commander, Commander Klein, to put those crossbows down before someone gets hurt? I assure you it won't be me.
Yes, maybe if you back up a good maybe 10 or 15 feet, then they'll feel comfortable enough to put down the bows. But until that time, you know, it's kind of a personal space issue. You'd understand. And he kind of hones the little point of the thing, bring it up to eye level. Trust is a big thing for you, is it not?
You know what? You're right. And he kind of puts up his hands in a mock apologetic gesture. Like it stops moving forward. No. The situation actually reminds me of something. The last time a certain gnome didn't want to hand something over. And Yoki, want to tell everyone something? Oh, that's right, I know. I was there.
I'm sure you were. You're the type of garbage that would do something like that.
Oh, you wound me. You wounded me. Puts his hand on his chest, like, oh, my heart might just break.
I hope it does.
That I don't have this. Don't have that fat bastard's approval. Oh. But it's okay. You caved then. Sure, you'll cave now too. You know, Butcher is quite an apt name for you, considering all the blood that's on your hands.
Fully take a point of inspiration.
All the Mariborian blood, actually. More than me, I think. Well, maybe not, but quite a good amount.
So at that statement, Mal kind of falters a little bit and is uneasy, but he doesn't question Gnocchi because he definitely trusts Gnocchi much more than he trusts him. But he's visibly shaken by this and he's kind of darting his eyes back to Gnocchi.
Noki kind of like nods slowly at what he's saying, and all he says back is, "Any blood that's on my hand is on yours twice as much."
I definitely don't disagree with you there. I am what you might call a very bad man. But it's okay. I embrace it. I accept it. It's a part of who I am. But screw the theatrics. And from behind him, actually all around, the air begins to shimmer. And the temperature actually goes up like 10 or 20 degrees in the area, like this flood of heat. And then all of these sigils of the dragon interlocking begin to burn into the ground. And in their places, with a flash of light, are a group of what seem to be maybe 50 men armed with swords and these strange masks on their face. And Illios, you definitely feel the celestial evil coming off of them. And they're all trained on you. Like, now, I know this is a bad numbers game, but pretty sure that 50 seekers, Imperial seekers, outnumber 100 untrained, ill-mannered countrymen with swords. So, if you don't mind, you hand over that crystal, Gnocchi? Can I call you Gnocchi?
Yeah, I guess so, since we have a past.
Well, yeah. I was the one who held a blade to your, what was it, Hequist throat? I was that guy.
Thought I recognized your ugly mug.
I'm glad you did. Glad you remember. So, you don't want... Because, I've realized that I'm dealing with people of your ilk, people called heroes. It's best to threaten those they care about than them themselves.
And who are you going to threaten here?
What'd you say, Ryan?
Who are you going to threaten here?
Sure about that. I'm sure you have a pretty good relation with a lot of these different people, and I know you wouldn't want 100, give or take, more people's blood on your hands, because believe me, you won't be able to do a damn thing about it.
Calling his bluff, he said, knowing these 100 or so souls, they'd all give their lives before giving you anything you want. They know the troubles that you can cause, and the damages you'll cause. Will greatly outnumber these here.
Mel, am I talking some sense into him?
What do we know about the Seekers?
So, what you would know about these Seekers is that they are basically the maybe like what you call like the Black Ops operation, the people who do things behind the scenes. Very highly trained, very skilled assassins. But that doesn't mean they're not adept at hand-to-hand combat, and most of them are magically inclined.
And there are 50 of them.
Okay. Well, this famous grimace and no smiling eyes. It's like, one moment. And I kind of go back and kind of grab Gnocchi and grab Illios, and we kind of get our heads together like this in a three-man huddle. Like, okay. I've played out the majority of the scenarios here, and it all ends with our death. So, even though I hate this man more than I hate anyone in the entire world, and I'm sure you do too, Gnocchi, I don't see any other way out of this besides giving him what he wants. It's not just our lives. He looks around at everybody here. It's everyone here.
All I want is the crystal.
Shut up! We're in the middle of a meeting. Sorry. Okay, we're back. What are you guys thinking?
We cannot allow more bloodshed on this battlefield. But it seems we are between rock and hard place.
Where we are right now, we have basically civilians at this point, untrained men who would just throw their lives away on the swords and magic of these Seekers. Now, we could fight them. We might even be able to escape, win, whatever, but at a great cost. Now, we could give him what he wants, and in time we'll grow in strength and be able to repay him in kind. Is there any way, do you know of a way we could tamper with this before we give him the stone? Is there any way we tamper the stone? Is Anna Calcum, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I looked to Gnocchi. Is there any way you could, I don't know, if you have experience with Anna Calcum, is there any way you could render it inert or, I don't know, something?
Can I, Molly?
Kind of look over at Klein. It's going great, Klein. Okay, back.
Alright, so so with this Anacalcum, tamper with it, huh? You've worked with the normal purple Anacalcum before,
Right.
kind of the circuits, and you know how those work, and you've just recently even found the the clear, like the golden crystals, and those have similar make. But this one, it's almost like it's. To get an analogy, it's almost like it's written in a different language. It still uses the same, like a magic circus, but there's just something off about this thing. You can try, but you'd have to give me a roll.
Alright. What do you want me to roll for this?
Remember that like special gunslinger ability?
Fuck shit up.
That's so cool that y'all work that out.
17.
17.
Yeah.
Come on. That's above average.
Yeah.
It blows up in your face and everyone in the field dies.
Worth.
Fuck you, Klein.
All right. What has Clyde done? Yeah. So yeah, you're able to tamper with this thing, and I don't know, what exactly do you do to tamper with it?
Oh, you get to choose.
Oh.
Anybody have an engineering degree? Oh wait, no. Molly dropped out.
Oh! All right. Too much real life here.
Right, too
Fantasyland.
soon.
You said there's like writing on this or something?
Yeah, they're like I guess they're like these glowing, like kind of ebbing in and out, these runic circuits, but they're different than what you're used to working with.
Right. Are they like groups on the stone?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a knife and just create my own groove, messing up the circuit.
In a highly technical way.
Imperceptibly altering it to the naked eye.
That's exactly what Gnocchi does.
Inconceivable.
All right.
Right. Gnocchi, you earn your place every day on this team. And I grab the so I'm gonna kind of look at you guys again, and I'm gonna say, okay, I'll bring it to him. Wink. Okay.
Before I hand it over, I'm gonna try and memorize as much of the engraving in it as I can.
Yeah, go for it.
To try and copy. Is there any way I can like copy it real quick? Like hold paper and charcoal over it? If I have it in my pack.
Sure.
Best huddle ever.
Yeah, right.
And a Mao in front of me. And I'm pretty short.
Yeah, basically, yeah. We like formed like a wall of the other guys. I'm just gonna like randomly say out random words. We can't do that.
What's going on? I like lost.
I'm holding up like a piece of parchment over the gem, and I'm gonna take charcoal and and like
I got you.
And print it on the paper so that we have what it says.
Yeah, any kind of indentation or anything.
That's a really fucking awesome idea.
Freaking good idea. I'm like, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Take a point of inspiration.
Every day you earn this place on the team.
Shoot, that is D&D skill right there.
Yeah, man. Did you hear me when I said get a point of inspiration?
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
I have an explorer's pack. I don't know if that has anything in there.
It has the thing in there.
Awesome, I do it.
Yeah. Not gonna get caught in the minutia of the fucking explorer's pack garbage. All right.
I'll praise the DM.
Uh-huh.
If it's badass, do it.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Rule 0. So Mal, you're bringing it to him?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So as we break the wall of men in front of us, holding the crossbows, I kind of make my way through them. All right, climb. You won. Bringing it to you.
This is so Illiget doesn't really understand, you tampering with it or inscribing it. So he really thinks that we're giving up. This is, these people's lives are in jeopardy, and he feels really downtrodden about, one, the people that have already died, and two, that he's completely helpless to save the others except for to give in to what Dalton wants. And so, I mean, he's kind of just trying to collect himself, and he's just kind of muttering something about, your mother and saving these, no more blood. And he looks really not collected at the moment.
I knew you'd see reason. Well, and brute force, but I like to call it reason.
I thought you piece of shit.
I really like you. It's almost a shame. I'm probably gonna have to kill you at some later point.
I'd like to see you try without your goons next time.
Oh, that one did
Is
hurt.
anyone who's going to 1v1 Dalton, Noki? It's me.
Not anymore. Not after today.
All right, the 2v1. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Dalton, bring a friend.
Glad
So,
to see you're still on good enough terms to banter. Wasn't really expecting that.
Character. I don't care. All right.
Not in character. Oops. Just
All
slipped
right,
out.
all right. I gotta harness all my anger and repressed rage. And okay. So yeah, he's gonna make his way across the field. It's the longest, however many feet in between them, of Mal's life. His face is just like a face of rage, and it's very tense and twitchy. And he makes his way over, and he's about arm's length away from him. And so he looks at, before he gives it to him, he's gonna look Dalton over, look at what he's wearing, and see all of the imperial, insignias and stuff on him. But he's gonna look over again just to make sure there's nothing out of place, or something that would remind him of the old Dalton. So do you want to roll for that, or?
You're gonna look for something to see if
Something that reminds me of the old Dalton. Yeah.
Yeah.
12?
Go ahead and roll for it.
12? It's above
12.
average. Slightly.
All right. So you definitely really what you notice with that is just the worn and torn brown coat. It's definitely the same one that he wore back then.
It was like our uniform was the brown coats, the one that was like our whole thing, like our uniform then. Right. So he kind of sees that, he notices that torn, unkempt uniform. And he looks back, and Dalton looks him in his deep pearly blue eyes. And he says, "Before I give this to you, why? Why are you still wearing your uniform? Why did you betray me and everything that we held dear at the valley? Why, Dalton? Why?
Why?
Why, you bastard? Why?"
It's kind of thought you'd lead off with that, honestly. I've been waiting for you to ask.
Well, I'm waiting.
So you see, you know that back then, the war had been going on for a while now, and well, the battle at Serenity Valley was really our last shot at maintaining any kind of war effort. And you know what? Without my intervention, even with the guns from Yoki there, we probably still would have held out. At least for a little bit longer. Good year or two, possibly. But we still would have lost in the end. I know that for a fact. It's just a simple numbers game. But, so I thought to myself, why make everyone suffer an extra 2 years when I could just end their suffering right then and there? And as for the uniform, just something that I like to wear to remember that day when I finally was able to escape the confines of those shitty relationships that I had been forced to hold for so long. Damn, it felt so good to finally kill them. You have no idea.
So I'm gonna look him dead in the eye. A single manly tear rolls from my eye. You even killed Lorelei. Your Lorelei. And that means nothing to you?
All part of keeping up appearances. Sure you understand.
Oh, roll the will save to not punch him in the face. Oh, I rolled a 17. Damn it. Okay, so yeah, Mal is like everything that's been it's been a straw, and that was gonna be the one that was like gonna send him over the edge and send him into full out retaliation mode. But right as he's about to break, I like to think that he hears a sound, or maybe like a scuffle back from behind him, and hears the scuffle of men, and looks back at them and sees all of the young and terrified faces, the faces of people who have never seen conflict until this moment. Sees the faces of familiar faces of Gnocchi, of Illigath, of Klein, and of Zoe, and realizes that he's got to rise above this, even though it pains him with every fiber of his being. And he looks back to Dalton and kind of like imagine like a girl breaking like the break, like she just got broken up with. He just kind of tosses at him and just says here, and just tosses at his feet and storms back over to his side.
I was gonna say, Malvadrian, no more bloodshed. But I just wanted to say that.
I know, damn it.
Yeah, I know. Take a point of inspiration for that.
Oh, thanks, man. I'll write it down and totally remember that it'll be on my other sheet.
So Dalton, like, oh, thanks, Mal. I knew you'd see reason. And he's kind of looking it over. All right. And there's one more thing that I want to do. I'm just to make certain.
No.
Just to make certain of something.
No.
And he.
Oh shit.
So where's Tornjaw right
now?
Where
where we left him. I mean, I'm pretty. I think me and Dolgrim are the closest ones to Tornjaw.
All right.
Because we haven't really moved.
So Dalton would kind of stroll over to my Tornjaw and take the officer's saber that he has at his side and plunge it into Tornjaw's now just racked chest, and you see the body begin to convulse as the sword intakes this like black energy, like this black mist that just kind of seeps from his body and gets absorbed into the sword, into the saber. And as that happens, Tornjaw's body crumbles into dust, and he takes the saber from the ground, puts it back. Didn't want to leave any loose ends. And with that, I think our business is done here.
Get out of here. Leave us be.
Don't have to tell me twice. Heretic. I can't even call you heretic. It's just a bunch of jargon. Oh well. Gotta follow my superior's orders, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know.
Malvadrian's like already back at the camp. Is just like has not stopped walking since that interaction.
Yep. So, did I say I only had one more thing to do? And then he disappears. On the spot, that sigil's immediately burned to the ground. He disappears with a flash of light. And he appears right next to Zoe.
Don't do this.
I knew it was gonna happen.
And her surprise, she doesn't react.
No.
He kind of cups her chin with his hand.
Oh, you fucker.
And looks into her eyes. And you see his eyes glow a burning blue as Zoe crumbles to the ground. Not making any sounds. She does so. She just crumples. The old world will rise again.
Illigith, with anything he's got left, is gonna just charge. There's no. You could say your monologue all you want, but I mean, there's just straight charging. So, however long you want to stay, if you stay long enough, I'm gonna run right into him.
Yep.
He's also going for his rifle on his back.
Yep. And as you charge, you get right up to him. He's just looking at you in the eye with the same smirk, and he disappears along with the other seekers.
And Illigith just, runs through where he was, collapses to the ground, to his knees, and just sobs.
Oh my god. So, Mal was walking away, being an emo, turned his back on his enemy, thought it was over. Here's the screams of Illigath, and immediately turns and runs back. And then I imagine he sees the flash of light or whatever it is that the teleportation thing is.
Yep.
He goes to that spot, and he doesn't see Zoe. He just looks at he sees Zoe, and he just collapses to just out of pure shock, just collapses and just by her side and just holds her in his arms and just cries and cries and cries and tries to, like, in denial, trying to bring her back, whatever, like but you can't do anything. You fucking bastard.
Yep.
I'll kill you.
As you do that, you feel her heartbeat.
Well, you fucker. Oh, don't play these games with me, Molly!
Talk about a mental breakdown imminent.
She's breathing, but very shallowly.
Fuck you.
And on her forehead, you see the sigil of Minty, but in reverse.
Oh, freak.
Okay.
Burned into her forehead.
With everything that's out, so I don't know how you want to do this, because this is kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of a uncharted territory, but basically he's gonna, like, with all of his essence, all of his being, all of his hit points, all of his spells, all of his whatever, he's gonna just try to, like, if a cleric has the whatever, like, channel divinity, he's just gonna try to, like, infuse, like, all of the energy that's inside him from both the Minty and also just his own essence, just kind of try to just charge it into so in just like this agonizing cry, lights in his eyes just shoot out of his mouth, out of his nose, his ears, whatever. That's what I'm gonna. However you want to try to do that, if that's a thing, if that's possible. What say you, Molly? I don't know how to. Yeah.
All right. So the energy courses through her, and there's almost like a rebound as you're thrown back.
I better be like unconscious or something. I'm just letting you know I better be unconscious or something. I better be like fugue near death state. I gave it my all. That's basically all I want to say. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah. I'm going to say that as you're doing that, you saw an image in your head, almost like you were not where you were right then. You just catch the flash of a gigantic, jet black, scaled figure smirking with his teeth showing, ichor flowing from his mouth, and a smile. And these deep blue eyes pouring into you. That's that. And,
yeah.
And the whole
I'm guessing it didn't work.
Yeah. The whole army is
So I kind of imagine like Malvadrian being blown back. He's just kind of there, like totally limp, not like lifeless, but like totally drained, like one hit point, unconscious, bloodied, just absolutely drained of all or almost all life and whatever. He's just unconscious, laying on the ground like that. So that's me right now.
Nokia would run over to Mal as he's being flown across. Make sure he's not too seriously injured or dead.
Just heartbroken, little chestnut.
Yeah, and Illios is gonna kind of see that they're together and And I mean, if they're not far, he's literally gonna just kind of crawl that way. But if it's more than like 10 feet, then he's gonna stand up and kind of join in like a little huddle.
Mm. And I'm the whole army is basically dumbfounded and in shock, and they don't know really what to do anymore. And Klein runs to Zoe and is overlooking her. Just makes a fist, bangs on the ground. Like, God damn it! Like, wait. Yep. Yoki. Gareth. The sigil is fading.
My potion.
1 second. Let me. Let me take a look. And Illios is proficient in kind of like natural medicine. So, I mean, he is going to look for signs of vital signs type stuff, pulse, any respiration, the fading sigil. If anything is like pulse is increasing, decreasing, kind of just like an evaluation to see if there is, if she's still able to hold on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna.
I kind of see it as a Klein maybe carrying her over there to you.
Okay.
Unless you want to move up, because I know you're hurt pretty badly.
That's fine. I did say, let me take a look, as in like somebody bring her. That's fine.
All right. So no medicine check needed. You know she's alive. She's breathing. But it's very shallow. And maybe if you like try and rouse her from like a consciousness, nothing seems to be happening. But that sigil that was burned on her forehead is gone. There's a little mark there, but it's gone. But she's alive.
All right. I'm guessing. She will need rest. We all need rest. Let us take care of those who have fallen today. We will prepare for them the graves, and we need rest. I don't know if Mortimer's near or something. Probably who I'd be looking for.
Mortimer's dead.
No. I wouldn't go that far.
Just to kill the love of my life.
No,
I can get it. I wouldn't go that far. Mortimer's untouchable, but Malvadrian's woman, fuck her.
No, she's alive.
Kill her, bring her back, kill her again. Oh wait, no, she's back.
I'm Klein. Basically, when you say that, I kind of want a cutscene there. And basically, you say that, and then the scene changes to being out later in the day. Graves have been dug. People have been laid to rest. The bodies of the dead gnolls are on like this pyre and are set aflame to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is just kind of sitting around in the main area main area of the camp, and just silent and silent, tending wounds. I would imagine that there are some grieving wives or children that just happen to be there. The soldiers mourning the loss of their husbands or fathers while they're there. And in that meantime, Zoe, it's been over like a half a day now. It's probably around evening now. The sun is just beginning to set. Zoe never woke up. But she's alive. Appears to be in some sort of coma. Or in a comatose state, at least. And Klein is kind of at the front. What would y'all be doing at this moment?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'd probably just say Illios. He looks much more downtrodden than y'all have ever seen him. He's real recluse, and spending a lot of time just by himself and in prayer. Where are we exactly, or did you say?
Yeah, everyone's basically like in the center of the camp. Looked like a Klein was about to say something.
Okay, so Illios would just kind of be like there, but kind of removed by a good amount of distance, sitting on like a stump or something. And he's just kind of pushing away anybody that kind of comes to say, asking if he's okay or something like that. It's just asks them to leave him alone.
Yeah. What about you, Gnocchi?
Gnocchi would be at a table off to the side, kind of like by himself, His 3 guns, his 2 pistols, and his rifle and musket all sitting on the table, freshly cleaned and ready to go. And a couple empty bowls of whatever was for dinner or lunch, whatever time of day. And anytime someone comes near him, his hand goes from like his bowl to his pistol and kind of like back away unless they're bringing him a new bowl of food. Once they set it down, his hand goes back saying, "Get away."
What about you, Mel?
So I assume I was probably taken back someplace to be tended to, because whatever, like, I kind of imagine almost being like what's the, you were the king in Lord of the Rings who was corrupted by Sauron, and then like basically he gets like kicked back or whatever. So I imagine I was probably like in some pretty poor states and whatever. So I imagine I was either getting tended to or whatever. So am I up after half a day, or am I still kind of in a stupor of coma? Because I kind of essentially gave my essence or whatever to try to save him.
Mm.
So what do you think?
I'll leave that up to you. You gonna be up right now?
Yeah, I'll say. You think I probably like wake up in I imagine like the hospitals, whatever, like the field clinic or whatever, is like totally overrun.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine like I wake up, and just wake up just distraught, kind of groggy, just like kind of. I kind of imagine I just like as soon as I wake up, like nobody notices, and I just disappear out into the forest, and I'm basically like beating my bloodied fist against a tree and like shooting across my crossbow at like any living thing that passes, like by not living thing, I mean like animals or whatever, just like causing as much, just letting my anger out on the nature nearby type of thing. And then after a few hours, I imagine I come back with my bloodied fists or whatever, and I just kind of sit down sullenly at the fringe of camp, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Just totally just downtrodden and angry.
Yeah. I guess I'll wait for Ryan to get back.
Okay.
No, someone's at the door.
Yeah.
Yep. What? What are you doing?
Nothing. I think Molly's like made eye contact with me through his whatever, and so we just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a sullen moment.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll mend my thing since we have some spare time. So like after like going out and fucking up nature, I'd probably come back to camp and then hear the news that Zoe, in fact, is not dead.
Mm-hmm.
Which I, I guess I didn't know, or I assumed she was dead. And I would basically just like run to wherever it is they're keeping her, and just kind of be at her bedside and just kind of, even though she's not like conscious, I would just like this torrent of like emotions and sadness and apologies for leaving her, type of thing, just kind of pour out even though she's not there. It's kind of almost more for him than it is for her. And he's just kind of at her bedside, just kind of sobbing on her unconscious body type of thing. So
Is that like in a building or like in a tent that's close to the center of camp? Or I'm sorry, I'm trying to put something together in my head.
Yeah, that'd probably be in a tent.
Okay.
yeah, like it's like,
It's a medical area.
yeah, like it's overflowing with like the injured in battle and stuff. So it's like, I would imagine like a bunch of ratty tents.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. I imagined that too.
Okay. So I'm kind of looking. I imagine it's kind of like nightfall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm looking around to see. So I noticed Mal went into the medical tent, and I'm just looking to see when he comes out.
I'll come out.
Okay, but I gotta wait for Ryan.
Oh, I thought you meant like we're passing the time type of thing.
No, I want to
Gotcha.
do something.
Okay.
Right.
I'm so sorry, son. Oh my God.
Am I hated right now?
Oh, so much.
No, you are so loved right now. The
Stupid
feels,
bastard.
man. I'm feeling it.
I wish I was a better actor.
Illios did what he did because I couldn't hold it back anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I feel that, man. I'm so glad that you rushed him. Like a few times.
I had already told him to leave.
Yep.
Like if he was looking for a fight right then and had stayed, Illios would have died going into, doing whatever he could.
Yeah. I believe you know who Gareth Dalton is now.
Yeah, I do.
Man, the myth, the bastard.
Yep. That's someone at the door.
Yeah, jeez.
It's
Hopefully
Dakota.
you didn't get like mugged or something.
Yeah.
Give me your money.
Why did you let Zoe die?
He's not dead.
Shut up, Molly. My emotions can't handle you right now.
I think that's a sign I've done a good job. I think.
Yes, Molly.
All right.
Yes, Molly. For sure. That was one of the evil guys that we've had.
Yeah.
Well, you see, evilness is subjective to.
It's not the big scary monsters that growl at you. It's what Scooby-Doo taught us when we were kids. The real monster are the people. The people behind the mask.
Deep. Oh man.
But what if a good man is behind an evil mask? Is that man?
Okay, all right.
Like maybe he was
Dalton.
good all along, but he put on an evil mask in order to, be an even greater person to like shoulder the brunt of hatred.
Hey, Ryan's back.
Hey,
Hey,
Molly.
Brian, you're back. Good. We've gotten into subjectiveness. Let's go.
All right. So, yeah. So none of the things that were said about Mal, and I'm pretty sure you heard the beating his fist bloody against the trees and then him coming back. He went to the medical tent, be at Zoe's side for a while, and he had just come out, and I think Illios wanted to do something.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so he sees Mal come out of the medical tent, and Illios is going to walk towards him, and he's going to put his hand on Mal's shoulder, standing, a good almost 2 feet taller than him, and he's just going to put his hand on his shoulder, and he doesn't look at him. He kind of just moves with Mal as they go towards the center of the camp, and Illios, in kind of a strange voice with his accent, he starts to sing. Without you, I feel broke, like I am half of a whole. Without you, I've got no hand to hold. Without you, I feel torn, like a sail in a storm. Without you, I am just a sad song. And he sings it again, and he a little louder, and he kind of looks around to get those to join him as he kind of opens the door for everyone to kind of grieve together. And so he sings that same verse quite a few times.
So as you sang, at first people kind of look up at you, still somber and sullen, but then you kind of pick it up, and you hear a familiar voice. Without you, whatever you're doing is actually.
I feel broke.
Yeah. Without you, I feel broke.
Like I'm half of a whole.
Like I am half of a whole. And it's actually Raymond who starts up the song. And without you, I am half
of a whole.
of a whole. And Dolgrim joins in. Without you, I am half of a whole. You know who joins in. And then everyone in like this chorus starts to sing. Klein joins in as well. He was going to say something, but nothing he could have said would top that. And so, what about you, Nyoki? Do you start singing along?
He tries to, but he can't really find the voice to.
What about you, Mel?
Oh, there's quite too much baggage for Mal to unpackage to try to relieve his grief at this moment. So it's not that he resents the like trying to make him feel better, but he kind of resents Illigeth for trying to make him feel better, and is getting kind of angry, and just kind of abruptly kind of just pushes him away without a word, and just kind of walks off into like a dark corner somewhere. Out of character, I love you, bro. Out of character, I hate you, bro.
Oh yeah, I don't think I said, but take a fucking point of inspiration. That, like, jeez. Okay, that was awesome. I love that.
Once the singing started to die down, and it gets quiet, Illigith would like to remind the entire camp that, or finish with kind of like a final upbeat. He wants to say, but the sun will rise in the morning. And that's all he wants to say.
Yes. I hope it will. I know it will. That's Klein. I'm walking over to you. Who's actually standing behind you. Let's go with that. Yeah. That was definitely better than anything I could have said. Sorry I've been kind of a dick to you, Illigith.
It is okay. We have all lost those who are dear to us.
We need to talk. Not tonight, if you don't want to. I want to give everyone time to grieve, as much time as they need. But we need to talk about what comes next. You, Nyoki, and he kind of looks off into the distance where Mal has stormed off, and Silas.
Rest assured that when we strike, we will strike with power, efficiency, and we will give it all that we have.
Looks you in the eye and says, yes. Yes, we will. And that's what we need to talk about. And if would y'all want to wait until morning?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, I have a. It's kind of so. I'll just run this by you, Molly. So basically, kind of what I want to kind of like cinematically like thinking about it is basically Mal going off on his own, and if there were any gnolls that kind of like ran away, like I kind of imagined him like tracking all of them down and just kind of brutally murdering them all, and just kind of walk back the next day, like just covered in gnoll blood type of thing. So I don't want to have to like go through that, but like cinematically, let's just imagine that he like went, he tracked down gnoll tracks, and he found like a den of gnolls or whatever, and he just kind of butchered his way through with his crossbow and his short sword, just kind of, and he just kind of come back the next day just covered in dried blood.
Yeah. And if this is all right with you, I wanted to maybe do something while you're walking back, or right after you spotted those gnolls.
Cool.
Malvadrian.
Who's talking to me? This one?
Just from inside your mind.
Oh, okay. That's not weird.
Yeah, I think that was the point, was him to say, like, was for you to say who's talking to me.
And in a snap, in front of you, very faded, is a beautiful, beautiful woman in a silky silver dress, and even more silvery hair, with these beautiful light blue eyes, kind of like this almost elven grace about her, but she doesn't have the elven ears. I'm sorry. This is, you know who this is.
Minty.
Spoiler alert.
So Mal's just kind of looking down, very grim. And he doesn't say anything. He doesn't say anything to her. He just looks down, grim, and just kind of nods. And fairly, almost imperceptibly, he says, "Me too." He's kind of gripping his pants, very tight. Nails digging into his palm, a little bit of blood coming out of from the pressure, fighting back tears at this point. Just kind of like looking down. He can't look her in the eye.
And she walks up to you, and she kind of cups her chin and raises your head. If you'll allow that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can't really deny her.
Yeah. And I guess she sees like the hot tears like rolling down.
Yeah, angry hot tears of manliness.
Yeah.
Get back in there.
Yeah.
Is there
Great movie. He's like, he kind of like allows himself to look up, and he kind of just, yeah, he's like that, just kind of like, imagine like a wounded animal type of like stare, like at a person who just kind of came by, who's trying to help them off the, on the side of the road type of thing. That's kind of the look Mal that's given her.
Let all your anger out. Malvadrian von Silas. Or Mal. No one can hear you here.
He kind of tightens his jaw, and he says, "I can't. I need it."
And why is that?
Because if I let it go, I won't be able to face the reality of what just happened. I need it to keep me sane, to keep me focused. I need it so I can track him down and murder him.
And there's a slight raise almost imperceptible.
Whoa. Molly, you're kind of echoing. I would like
Yeah.
to get you to say that again.
So, still echoing?
No.
Okay, good. What is that? Anyway, she closed her eyes a bit. Like, I know, Mal. I know. Your anger is right and just. Knowing everything that man has done to you. Just don't let it overtake you.
He kind of tensely nods, his head still kind of not really looking at her, kind of eyes off to the side, just kind of nods.
Like, no. It's like she pulls your head kind of to where you're looking her in the eye. Like, I need you to understand this, Mal. If you keep that kind of thing bottled up inside you, there's no telling what you're going to do to everyone you care about, everyone you love. And although I feel like after that, maybe you would have started to say something.
Mal would like interrupt her. So like as soon as she like said like the no, like whatever, and like went on about letting, don't let the anger overtake you. You just like, when she pulled up his eyes, they would be flaring with anger. And he would scream with an intensity that I cannot scream because my hand is below, and it'd be quite awkward to explain the situation. But I'll basically paraphrase, but just imagine him screaming like just pure anger and rage. Don't you get it? Your way didn't work. I thought I could let it go. I thought I could be comfortable with my friends. I thought, put the anger aside. We've made a new life. I've made new friends with Gnocchi, Illigath, Klein. I've reunited with Zoe. I let go of my anger, and look what happened. I let go of my anger. I didn't let it overtake me with my battle with Dalton, and I let him win. I didn't let my anger overtake me. I stuck up for the common man, took it, in stride. I walked off, and what happened? He won. I lost.
Bear in mind, Malvadrian von Silas, that if you had done anything else, everyone, you included, and your friends would be dead right now.
I don't care!
Shut up!
Won. Your way didn't work!
He won this time! He won this time, Mal. And they're like this silver or blue flame kind of like dancing across her hair and her eyes. But there is a next time. Need him again. And when the time comes, you'll give that bastard everything he deserves. And I'll make sure of that. You good now?
Yeah. You're right.
Good. And the fire, I imagine the blue kind of fire like mirrors yours. And your eyes, would you say that your eyes are kind of with that blue flame right now? Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah. I imagine it to be more of a silver flame, actually.
Silver, okay, yeah, sure. Silver flame. And and it just For her, it dies down. He was something else.
What?
I could feel it. There was something strange about him.
It kind of looks at her strangely, still kind of tense and angry, but he asks kind of with like a glimmer of hope, like it's a slight glimmer, surrounded by pessimism and rage and anger, but a slight glimmer of hope. And he asks, do you mean that he was corrupted?
No.
And then the hope dies instantly.
That's all that was going.
There's something else. When you tried to bring Zoe back, you saw that, right? That thing.
Yes.
That was an apostle.
An apostle. I mean, one of, like, the apostle?
I can't say for sure, but I think so.
Well, the day just keeps getting better and better.
It's okay. You know what? We're gonna win.
He kind of scoffs at her. What about today has given you any inkling that we will possibly win against these people? How can you say that?
Because if I believe anything else, I don't want to think about that reality, Mal.
Yeah, sure.
Go back to the camp. Talk to your friends. I know they want to help you.
Yeah, okay. I'm not looking at her.
And then at that point, you're back in the woods covered in blood.
What just happened? How did this blood get here?
And then the shrooms wear off. I'm so high right now. I don't even know what I am.
I don't know what's going on.
Stupid God, lady, demon, celestial, like she knows whatever she's talking about. Punches another tree.
Breaks fist.
Yeah.
Hand.
Alright, so I imagine you get back to the camp. It's probably just in the middle of the night. Or something like that, would you say so? Maybe like 3, 4 in the morning.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Then, Dawn, let's assume you go sleep somewhere.
I'll try it, that's for sure.
Yeah. Maybe y'all don't mind. I'd like to do another cutscene here. Oh, okay. Sorry. Did you want to?
I was just gonna say, are we like camping in tents?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
You could either be camping in tents. You could either be in the resting in the miner's respite if you wanted.
I mean, tents is fine.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, as it gets like, so Illios just kind of instinctively wakes up about 15 minutes before the sun peaks over the horizon, and I would imagine that there's like still a small fire going, and if anyone was up, they would see kind of like the his massive silhouette kind of taking cloth and bandaging and kind of just, Il Mater, give us the strength to press on, steel our faith, guide us as we move forward. Help me to give those who need it the courage to rise up. And he's just kind of going through his ritual in the morning, but it's a little less hidden, a little more vocal, as he kind of tries to work out his inner demons.
Is that why you're so strong?
Says
Raymond.
Oh.
You mean nobody's going to talk to in his voice or in his head? Hey, it's me. I'm God. How's it going?
Yeah, so if you like turn around, Raymond's behind you and standing there.
Yes, Raymond. It is Il Mater who gives me strength. And I am here to tell you that he will give you strength as well. Raymond?
Even a coward like me?
Would you like to join me? It may not be your custom to pray, but
at this point, Ilgath, I'll take anything I can get.
Okay. So, yeah.
Just like cup my hands like this.
Yes, Raymond.
Okay, I'm
Yeah, kind of,
I've never really prayed to a god before. Actually,
Well, this is good. Just focus on the good that is inside you and your friends. Focus on that. That is from Il Mater. It will help you be strong. And we can cut it there if you want.
please, Elmater, respond to it. Whoever you are, whatever you are, you could give me some of the strength that you give to Ilgath here, and maybe help me to not be such of a harebrained idiot or coward or you what am I doing? No. Ilgath said, okay. Please give me the strength that I don't have. As, maybe I could like them someday. Is that how you do it? Is that I don't really feel anything.
Yes, Raymond, that is how you do it. You did well. Now remember, each morning, do not forget, meditate on the good that is inside of you and your friends.
I'll try. I'll try, Ilgath.
I am here for you, Raymond.
Not for long, I think. And you good to cut that there?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. And so so this is kind of where it would be. I would say in the miner's respite, Y'all, all three, are in there with a Klein and a noticeably empty chair beside him, where Zoe sat the last time y'all talked.
Too soon!
We need to talk about what comes next. We lost a lot of good men yesterday. And while the losses were not as big as they would have been had you not been here, we're still nothing in comparison to the armies I know that the Imperium can muster in a crusade. We would be crushed instantly. For that, we're going to need some help. Anyone say anything to that?
No, I'm waiting here in suspense.
All right.
Loki would say, I agree with you, and we also need to get this to my guild. And he pulls out the paper from which he copied down the gem marks.
Oh.
What is this?
This is the markings from the gem. I took it before we gave it over, so we can find out exactly what the that black crystal does.
Gnocchi, you beautiful bastard. So we have something on them then. We didn't lose everything.
Not quite.
So,
Is he aware of the tampering? Or is it just like us three?
Us.
I don't know.
he doesn't know.
I'm just saying I don't know. Like I said,
It was y'all.
Yeah, and Illios' demeanor definitely brightens when you pull out a parchment and say that it was from the crystal, because he had no idea.
Right.
Well, that's very good news. Now, there is. We must, like you said, we must get that to your guild immediately. There is another option, something else that I would like to say of, another avenue that could be presented to us. It wouldn't be easy, but it's worth a shot. To the north, to the northwest, just on the border of the Bedlam. The Bedlam is where all the gnolls are from, by the way. There are the Deep Thorn Mountains. And in those mountains are the dwarves of Marengo. If you remember, I said that I went there for aid and came back empty-handed. And I did not leave on the best of terms. But the dwarves there have one of the biggest standing armies in Illios. One of the best trained on this side of the world, really. But they're stubborn, isolationist, and are in constant conflict with the gnolls to the south. And he looks at Illigith and the Goliath tribes to the north. That's why I was wary of you when you came here. On top of that, their leader's a dick. Even more of a dick than I am, which is saying something.
Hard to top.
You're right. You could go there. See if you could convince Beyond.
With an A?
What you might call their king. Now, you wouldn't be going with no connections whatsoever. That's right, you wouldn't. And Dolgrim kind of shows up, and I'm gonna... Yeah, Logan, that's it. Remember I said I was from the north? Well, not quite so north. Jan, let's just say we're a little bit close. He might be a relative of mine.
Praise Ilmater.
I didn't exactly agree with his decision to not help the countrymen in the south, which is why I'm here and left with Klein. But I might be able to convince him otherwise. If I go with you.
Well, then this is fantastic news, is it not?
Yeah, it is. I'm only taught from that crystal. It's really about the only hope we have of combating with them.
And so Mal kind of sitting back in his chair, still kind of stewing. So our only chance to survive is to do how the Northerners do. Great.
That is how the Northerners do! Yeah. I had to do it. Okay.
Thanks for getting it, Moldy.
Yep. And there's one other thing. Mal.
His eyes dart over to him and kind of stare at him like hawkish, like, what?
Deep in the throes of the deep thorn mountains, the lake is said to have been formed when the gods fell from the heavens thousands of years ago. Or at least that's what it says. What the legends say.
And this
That water,
concern... Did I continue? My bad.
that water has, some would say, divine properties. At least that's what the tales say. At least I'm not 100% sure. Okay, it's just something that's there, but it could have healing properties. If you know.
So, was there any like medical authority inside of the camp that kind of knew what was going on with Zoe before this meeting happened? She was just in a coma, right? That was all the thing that was established.
Yeah, she was just in a comatose state.
Was she physically fine? It's just like a spiritual, emotional thing.
She's physically fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and
What was the lake called again?
The lake?
Deep in the deep finger cave mountain. Deep Thorn. That's what it was. Deep in the Deep Thorn Mountain.
Yeah.
Okay. Lake deep in the Deep Thorn Mountain.
I don't remember name of lake, but I'm sorry. I listened to tales, but it's
Seems
supposedly
kind of
there.
careless that you don't remember an important lake, but
It's supposedly there.
Molly,
Orgos. Yes.
would I have heard of this?
This lake.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we called it something different, but would I have heard of anything that was like this? I mean, is this in the Northern Hemisphere?
You know what?
I'm just...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. I would say I'm not quite where you were.
Yeah.
But you know that your quote unquote brothers to the west of you,
Okay.
your other tribes, would speak of this lake and its divine, almost like seemingly magical properties. And they held it in like the highest regard, and it was a very sacred place to
Okay.
the Goliaths of the west, or the northwest.
I too have heard of these healing waters. I can't confirm what it is being said.
Okay, good. It's not myth. I'm glad you know for certain. I just wanted to throw it out there.
So at this point, Mal's mood is improved a slight bit at the thought of being able to resurrect, or not resurrect, but heal. But he kind of looks over to Illigath and kind of, what about your kinsmen, Illigath? Would they be able to aid us?
I almost don't know how to answer that. You can tell he's kind of struggling with, literally, of how to respond. The Goliath tribes. We are not exactly friends, but that is not to say that they cannot see reason. It would be worth the effort to try.
Do you mean that the tribes themselves are not neighborly, but they could be united under a just cause?
Should Ilmater will it, it could be done.
We're all doomed.
I'm sorry, Molly, what'd you say?
And just to say, Klein already told you, but dwarves and Goliaths aren't exactly on best of terms. Territorial disputes and all that shit.
Neither are the gnomes and dwarves, but I'm still going.
Nor are the gnomes and humans.
Everybody just hates
God, it's almost worse. The gnomes and the dwarven craftsmen have been at odds for as long as this world has existed. Oh.
And humans have hated gnomes for as long as they've known of gnomes' existence.
I don't know about that, but maybe. No personal experience there.
Or perhaps the end of the known world will bring together former enemies. Or we face one much more dangerous than either of than each other, than of words. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. I'm distraught. Don't judge me.
I don't
This,
know how.
this
How
could be
exactly?
done. This could be done. We must focus our energy.
Noki's kind of like he hasn't really said anything except for his last remark. And he's gonna look at Klein. He goes, "What about the parchment? There's no one here I can trust."
Field trip. We have so many options.
I can't trust anyone here with delivering it or the location of my guild. Since Xylem left yesterday or the day before.
Oh shoot.
Mm,
Oops.
Should we go there ourselves?
There's no one else that I know of who has any knowledge of these markings.
mm. Hello?
I was gonna say, I mean, if that catches you off guard, we can give you time to think about that. We don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the camp. There are other gnomes that are still there. He was just one of them. He wasn't the only gnome there.
I mean, are they like from my guild though?
Yeah.
You never
Like,
told
all
me.
the gnomes.
You said there
But
was
it could be fun to go on a field trip.
You told me there was only one.
I don't remember saying that. But I could have sworn.
Well, I
I
think like
mean,
Logan said, if you want to take some time to think about it, like end it here.
there's that, and then also, I don't know how far apart these places are, but I would assume that they're pretty far apart. So,
Multi-tiered adventure.
I mean,
Non-linear
so if we're
adventure.
okay, I'm kind of talking meta here. If we have to go to the north, where exactly is the guild location?
Super southeast.
Super south. Okay, never mind.
What if magical things happen and it's not super southeast?
Or teleportation.
We need a cloud giant.
We're a level 9 wizard,
Yeah, right.
or I mean, high level wizard.
Just a possibility to flesh out Ryan's backstory and for us to interact. I mean, not totally kill Logan or Ryan's guild.
You get to meet John Wayne, no?
You don't even need John.
I would say this would. I don't know what else you had for that, Molly, but this would be,
It could be the pre-adventure, or it could be another interesting one.
Yeah.
Separate the party.
Of the three.
Great
Three
plan.
is already so much.
Yeah.
Well, Leslie, we'll all have our own session with Molly.
Oh.
Just do some magical things with the geography. I mean,
Yeah.
all the time.
Let's
Would
look
that
at
There's a secret underground passage from the super southeast to the mountain.
Minecraft.
Would that be too much, Ryan?
Yes.
Are you serious?
No.
Okay.
But we
What do you think, Molly?
dwarves.
I mean, we could literally just still go super southeast and then just go to the north.
That's a long way.
It's not like we're restricted by time. It's not like the invasion's like about to happen. Like on the third moon of the Kantar region, we will die on the second day.
I guess you're right. But Molly, I mean, if you had anything else planned, if not, then we're kind of just rambling live.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. For these, I mean, like I said, I keep changing the geography of the damn world all the time. So, and hell, maybe this could be why the fucking gnomes and the dwarves they have to come into contact somehow.
Not anymore.
Right. So, yeah. Let's say the play. I don't think Nyoki's described really the place, but the place where Nyoki's guild is, let's move that
Oh,
westward.
We should like wrap up the.
Yeah.
So we're not like doing this stuff outside of.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. All right. So kind of go back. Into that. Klein is about to respond. Near. Wait. And you're kind of bumbling into the door, like, I want to go with you.
Please say it's not Raymond.
Ah!
I want to go with you.
It's Raymond.
Do we get to know who it is?
If it's Raymond, I shoot him.
Yeah, it's Raymond.
Ah! Buddy!
It's like, I'll carry your bags. Probably won't be able to. I do anything. I want to go.
What was the name of the other guy who ate the food before gnocchi?
Jeff magically
tried
appeared
to.
behind Yoki.
Like Kenny or something like that?
Jeff,
No, it wasn't Kenny. You remember his name?
definitely Jeff.
Jeff. Yeah. I think our stipulation as a group would be only if Jeff comes. Oh wait, no, Noki hates Jeff. Just kidding.
Molly.
Noki hates Raymond more.
Is the party fine with this, or is the party not fine with this?
I think this is the most ever D&D opportune moment to say, and my axe.
Like,
We are literally the Fellowship of the Ring right
Wait.
now. guys.
so is that a yes then? And then the session ends.
Before Noki can pop them.
Yeah, right before no can shoot. All right, everyone got to experience some world building at the end of this session. Yeah, but I enjoyed that session a lot.
I did too.
See?
Yeah.
Like,
Too much roller coaster emotions for me to
yeah, I
take.
was gonna say. Roller
And
coaster.
that's what I wanted to do. And end broadcast.